last speaker here, Mercurio. Those of you that know Matt know that he's really passionate about GIS and geodata and all sorts of stuff. He does it on his weekends and I think vacations and everything like that. So let me just read off a couple of his quick bio here. He has more than 18 years of experience in the procurement, collection, management, and analysis of geospatial data and imagery for a multitude of applications and customers. Matt is now the Geospatial Technology Officer and co-founder of Spatial Analytics and is actively working with partners in the SUAV practice area, focusing on point cloud generation and derivative analyses. Matt is a GISP and is a GIS leader who is active in the PA GIS community, specializing in open data outreach activities, co-founding the local MapTime chapter in Pittsburgh. Matt holds a BS in Geosciences from the Pennsylvania State University and an MS in Geology from Ball State University. Matt?
How you guys doing? Long conference, next to last. I appreciate you guys hanging in for it. Hopefully we'll hold your interest enough and give you some really good ideas about what to do when your bosses, your friends, your neighbors ask you about that drone or what drones you're working with. Everyone here is mapping, so everyone heard about drones. I'm taking it for the past year, past 2 years. You know, if you've been in the industry for a lot longer, for the past 25 years. Well, they're out there. There's a lot of them, and on a personal side note, you get to get really intensely intimate with the data. This is a nice shot from a site out in a Ligonier where we're doing a flight. This is all test. This is not commercial, because I don't want to move it out of the way. Out of PE or PLS or a pilot. This is all done as a geodata consumer to figure out what can you really use this stuff for. I mean, because it's coming out hot and heavy. So, imagery has been something I've loved my entire life. I'm a geologist, a fluvial geologist, and you see things from the sky, and you can never get close enough. Balloon, kite, plane, sensor, satellite. But as you can see from this animated graphic in the background, imagery is key to any kind of quality controlled vector products. It is the thing that you use for binocular analysis to see where things are, to see with your eyeballs. It changes always around, temporally isolated, but these imagery programs that you're seeing are county-wide by nature. Usually they're very, very large in scale. But you can see they're consistent, they're repeatable, accurate, and they're precise. That's key, because those are all questions we need to ask now about the UAV industry. So, okay, drones, UAV, SUAS, call it what you want. I use the word drone because it encompasses everything about the system. The device, the platform, the sensor, the software used. It is the system that really makes the data, not the drone itself. So, what got me interested was, as part of our imagery program at the county, we needed hot spotting. Every 2 years was great because until about 3 years ago, there was no Allegheny County imagery program. Well, it's essential for doing county operations. Once that imagery program was established, which I think is very good for any large-scale organization that's geographically bounded, it's the flexibility that you're looking for next to see those things that we told the county executive you can't show him a picture of South Park Golf Course. He doesn't like things like that. Well, there's an opportunity there for small sites using techniques and technology that's kind of been around for a while, but finally have become, I hate to say it, affordable to the normal person. Credit card company, as I like to call it. So, prosumer hardware. My first talk in a while. I apologize, I'm moving around a lot. I'm Italian, I kind of have to either do this, or I gotta do this, so a little bit of both. Prosumer hardware. It's a weird word. High-end consumer hardware is not a metric camera, but there's cameras out there that take really good pictures. There is autopilot on UAVs now, so you can fly a prescribed path according to a particular set of metrics. That is key for anything to do with GIS. And then you start seeing all these, this is back in about March this year, the beginning of this year, you start seeing a lot of talk about things like Pix4D, AGI photoscan, things that are out there that are allowing you to put tons of pictures in, and they're telling you, I can make this. Right? You're GIS folks, how many times have you seen imagery? Every day, right? All day long. Does it match up? Is it close enough? Does it look right? Can I see something that I want to see? Can I tell my boss this is really where it is versus where I think it is? All this is typical problems with GIS data or challenges and solutions aren't just there, but they're amplified by like a million. And you'll see that later on. So yes, I mean you can. You guys see it. You pitched it. You probably sold it. Some of you has anyone done it? Has anyone fly a drone or use a drone? Yeah, I mean you see it. It's feasible. The question for me was, how low can you go? I know I can do it with a precision hawk, a giant sensor flying with commercial grade equipment, with commercial grade sensors, but can you do something a little bit less sophisticated? And that's what I'm kind of talking about today. And the reason why it got me interested is because it's very applicable to small site deployment, like about 15 acres. You can take, with the standard technology right about now, this is a very applicable site for doing scene capture for small sites. And I tried to focus on that for this industry because I think you guys do a lot with these kind of intermediary sites where it might be too big for traditional walking around, but too small for an aero flight. Well, then there's the fun part, right? Anyone can go buy a drone, right? Anyone can buy it, but not anyone can fly it. And this is the U.S., right? This is the U.S. market. FAA is us. There are, particular legal frameworks in place to deal with it. They're evolving. They are changing every day. Today, there's an article about them introducing a bill in the Senate to relax the rules like immediately. So this is something you have to pay attention to, especially as a data consumer, because as you'll see, what this flows into is what I like to call, the data quality triangle. You guys are familiar with this. I'm not going to talk about precision, repeatability, and accuracy. Look it up in the dictionary, you kind of get an idea what they are in general. I want to talk about it specifically for making geodata with an SUAS or SUAV or a drone. What's the first thing everyone asks about, right? How accurate is it? Accurate, that's a question everyone wants to know. How precise is it? What can I see? What can I measure? And then repeatable. Am I consistent? Can I get the same shot over and over again? With traditional aero programs, we're used to it. The pictometry stuff we showed in the different vendors, different years throughout the county, same quality, better quality. The quality is increasing as you increase all the various parts of the triangle. So the SUAV is a platform. It's a platform collecting photo data. And there's things you need to know about that because it's not a plane, or a helicopter, or a traditional method of collecting aerial imagery on a large scale. Ensuring data quality by using best practices and standards. Been using this for a while now. That seems to be the first thing that goes out the window. You get the credit card, you get your drone, start flying it, and you're like, oh, we don't care about what's coming out of it. We want to get some data. Then you quickly realize if you don't do any of this at the beginning, the data at the end is very bad. Or it's not usable. I shouldn't say bad. Bad is I have 2 kids at home. Bad is a perspective. Usable is more of an appropriate solution. So I'm a doer, like Mike said, I'm a super nerd. I love to get into the data, and I saw it too, for me to go out and buy this stuff and do it myself, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're kidding, right? I've been buying this data for 18 years, from many different vendors, many different years, many different sources, many different spectrum, many different temporal resolutions. But this is really, I don't have to ask anybody. This is a control thing. I can, in theory, right, I've been told through the webs, everyone's telling me, if I get them right here, I follow the rules, and I do the work, which I like because I know if you just as a GIS person, I can get some maps for some sites of various sizes. I'm like, wow, I gotta see this for myself because I don't believe it. Photogrammetrists in the room, surveyors, flight planners, anybody? Okay, good. This makes sense to you guys then. This is what turns into your map. It's not something as simple as flying pictures. You gotta do it in a determined way with an end use in mind. And this just shows you a quick graphic about, hey, you gotta think about this stuff. What's your end resolution? And you're gonna produce a lot of images. That's a lot of images for such a small site. This is like a 13-acre site, 200 images. I like the gigapixels. 2.5 gigapixels. It's a cool way to measure some of these projects. The gigapixels in, density of point clouds out. This is a picture of a site. This is one of the raw pictures. I mean, this is a GoPro. It takes really good images if you do it right and you're conscious about it. Well, you get a lot of data. For photogrammetrists, it's too much data, and I understand that. I'm a GS person. I'd rather throw data away than have to go back and recollect it. So I don't want to get into this whole flight operations. We can talk about all that separately. This is more a guy that can make a map. How do you try to follow best practices? I would say the 3 areas, I'm not operating inside of a vacuum. I understand, I work with Ps, PLS, pilots, to make sure it's all right. And I'm in the middle of that data triangle. I'm not at any of the ends. So I'm trying to talk to it from someone that has to use the data and help people produce data in a way that's usable for me at the end of the day. Then this just shows a mosaic. It's not so bad. This is 230 pictures crunched together into that Mosaic, and you can see the tire track. So this is a personal example for me. This is someone's property, just had a well drilled for water, and you can see quickly, Google Earth will never find that, because it's not going to fly you. But I can find real quickly some quick site documentation. And then this is one of my more fun ones, is that to get IR, it used to be a really painful process. Well, not so much anymore, as long as the site that you're looking at is at a reasonable size for the device you're trying to apply to it. And this is just a CAM 260 that's been modified to be near infrared, green and blue. There's no metrics on it, just simply to show you that the platform provides opportunity. So, how good is it, right? Does people want to know that? Does GIS data? How good is it? Everyone wants to know how good is your data. Well, there's a lot of information out there. I wanted, the question becomes, can you see it, to measure it, to look at it, can I find it? Do I know where it is? Does it move specific location based on a real world coordinate system? And simply on the last one is, can I repeat this if I want to do this over and over again for different phases of the application? So, like I said, I exist happily in the middle of that triangle. Well, I don't dig into these reports, but I can give them to you if you want them. So if you have a particular use that requires accuracy, precision, and repeatability, these are the reports. This is a kind of report. This is from the software that I use called Fix4D, not the only software out there. The reason why I like it is it gives you so many metrics. If you want to get metrics, get a metric all day long. At the end of the day, what that means for me is, how do I go out, collect imagery for a site, and then convince the person that wants to use it that it's actually usable for their purpose. Off the sensor, the devices are 1 to 3 meters off, it's like your cell phone. Well, if you're looking at a place where wells drilled, it's good enough. For that particular positional accuracy location, precision is good enough because you can see the tire tracks. And the repeatability is because I have a flight path I can repeat, and I work with a pilot. Can't stress that enough. Working with professionals in the field are essential. Reach out to them. I guarantee you, while they might not enjoy answering questions about this stuff, it's their bailiwick. Engineers can tell you about precision. You've got surveyors tell you about GCPs and accuracy, and pilots tell you how to fly something without messing it up multiple times. And most important part, right? This is the part when it comes back to you. That's the most fun part of the mission. So what this is showing you is that this is a 15-acre site, maybe 13 acres. If you want to do a true accuracy assessment that is validated against existing standards for LiDAR or air photography, you got to go do the hard work, which I have not done yet, just I'm not answering those questions today. But the idea is that this field is there to do that. We're going to set this up with checkpoints to fly sensors. The question for me right now is, how many times do you fly to make sure you can trust the results in the future? Well, the goal is to put that bulk of data out there. The data does not exist yet because I took a GoPro, I could put it on an Iris, I could put it on I could put it on a DJI, I could put it on any advanced sensor you want to. And then you combine that, so you take a CAM 260, put it on a different platform. All these different combinations of platforms are just way more, there's a lot more possibilities than there currently are in the metric camera world. So it's a valid question. Is this a per flight accuracy assessment, or is this a per device, or is it per platform? These are questions that I'm beginning to struggle with because it really depends on the person using the data. People ask me all the time, do I need to see a doctor? Like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I'll tell you if you want me to hear. So same thing with surveyors and engineers. And pilots, do you need to see one? I can't tell you. But put it in the context of the accuracy triangle, of the quality triangle, that is key because you are, at the end of the day, are the consumer and the state. Is it useful? So for my purposes for here, it was great. It was wonderfully useful. But for am I going to build a yurt on that? Maybe, but maybe not a high-rise. So, tons of data. So we got a 15-acre site, flew about 300 pictures, and you're going to get about 3 million individual measured points from those photographs. Once you know, you trust them, as of course the triangle is concerned. But what you also get is a lot of it. I couldn't ask for better setups from Dan and from Kristen and from I forget your name, I apologize, for the Waterwall folks. The data is coming in very quickly. And you're able to put the device in the hands of the people that want to use it. This is not just a GPS device. I call it a flying computer, right? This is why I love pilots. Can I tell you I love pilots? Because these are flying computers. When your computer goes wacky under your desk, what do? Kick it. turn it off, get mad at it. When that computer goes bad, it's going somewhere. The computer does not come back to you unless you tell it to. When you are the pilot, you have fail-safe procedures. People see 333 as a burden. I see it as an opportunity to convince people that we're doing things right by putting data with these small sensors. The background animated image, also I should call this is animated gifs of my best friend now, so you guys see a lot of those in this presentation. This is showing Powder Mill site again over in Ligonier, where they just did not have data available for these key blowdown areas because Google is just not going to visit it. You know, they're not going to get a commercial flight anytime soon, and it gets its leaf on. So we have the ability to go through and really quickly hotspot these updates to the resolution and the precision and the accuracy that they're required, and the ability to repeat it in spring and then in fall. So that's a lot of data to come out of the machine. The way it basically works is photos. Computer vision, structure from motion, makes a point cloud. Does everyone know what a point cloud is? Point cloud, basically a 3D dot. Put them all together in a giant text file. Then it takes that and it mushes it down to create a traditional product. That's what you're seeing here. It's a traditional as-built product, just using elevation that comes off the sensor. I find it visually fascinating. It's really neat if you're a mapping person to see things at a scale that's been usually unapproachable from you before. And that's usually the scale you're operating. Vectors are zero width, right? They're tiny, but we have to deal with giant pixels on stuff. The opportunity is so interesting for me at this level. This is just a quick, this is totally pandering to you guys. I'm not sure if this is going to work like video. It's a video of a brave wheel with a fly. And it's a 3D mesh. I'll see if we can video to work at the end of the project. I don't want to wait for this. But the point cloud can become a mesh, and a mesh becomes an object model, and then that becomes real measurable information. So pictures, and this is what blows my mind. Pictures plus math equals really usable information. Maybe you want to see it. Maybe you want to interact with it. There's various ways to do that. And then one of the other interesting things that comes off these devices is the ability to fly kind of crazy ways. This is flowing around an object in an oblique pattern that's meshed in with the existing topo data sets. So you're able to not only hotspot things in the horizontal, but also things in the vertical, which is really important for people that really need to know about a small site. So whereas you would get, I will use the ASPRS classification of LiDAR data as my example here. When you get data for an entire county for LiDAR, you're going to classify into two things, trees and ground, or ground and not ground. That's really hard to do because it's a really large area. Well, there's 23 classes in the ASPRS. We can extend that to small sites and to say, well, we don't do in width, we're going to do in depth. And that's very valuable to allow us to strip down the points to be able to have measurable. How many dots will have a part of the building? It becomes a volume. It becomes surface area measurements. And then also, these are measurable points. So if you take, a regular photo, slap it on there, you get measurable photos. So for me, JS guy, hard drives, I hate them. They stack up, easily again, they go bad. Zip disks. Remember zip disks? I'm really old, so zip disks, right? And they just keep going bad. Well, I'm a nerd. I love the fact that you can do this stuff, that you can do this stuff on the web. And you really can. It sounds silly, I can't believe it. Now this part, I will say, is mocked up because we were not quite there yet. But putting together the contemporaneous data all at the same time is what's really fascinating to me. You fly your ortho, you fly your video on top of that, and you can get some elevation. You begin to see all three of the key data products from the UAV at one time. When you fly the video, you can extract information from the video with the FMV tools or with other oblique measurement tools, all from structure with motion information. So you don't have to throw anything away. It's the ultimate data recycling application. So I liken it to any woodworkers here. You get a pen, you get a block of wood, you turn it, and you get a pen out of it. You lose all that wood in the process. Very similar with point clouds. The point cloud classification tools that already exist for LiDAR are applicable to these sites, so you don't throw away any data. You turn your pen, but you keep your shading, and just turn them on and off. Two things I particularly am enamored with, I will say, are the ability to give people Google Earth files, because you can stop at any kind of map. Great, it extends the reach of the product to the people that need to see it, which I hate to say, you probably say the wrong crowd, might not be the analyst. It's the decision maker or the vice president that needs to do field operations. Now this tool, I will say, I really, really enjoy it. It's from a company called Newspin 360 in Dryden, Oklahoma. It's a 3D point cloud visualization tool. The reason why I really like it is it lets you collaborate. It's my favorite thing to do. Let me drive. Send me a link, let me drive, and you can tell information, point cloud annotating volumetrics, and you can simply begin to hotspot and do the LiDAR annotations, or the point cloud annotations. So, a lot of talk. What does it all mean? I mean, so this is the heavy part of the sandwich. It really is going to allow your bosses, your customers, your vendors to come say, you can pretty much fly what you want, when you want, where you want to fly it. When you follow the rules that are already established in the accuracy triangle. If you don't follow those rules, you're going to come up with data, yes. Is it data you can use? Probably not. So be concerned, but don't want to stop you from doing the fun stuff of this stuff, right? I mean, this is crazy. This is 40 meters with my GoPro. And I was like, I started zooming in, I'm like, my God, my sensor's messed up. I got a whole bunch of yellow shit. It's not yellow shit, it's dandelions. So then you're seeing a dumbed down version because of the presentation. So I'll put some stuff online for you guys to see. All the data's going to be up there for people to take a look at. And this is really all it is. And this is what I do all the time. This is all. If you're a manual photo guy, this is always your last shot. Turn off the camera. So camera's off. Any questions? So, you guys have any questions? Do you have any information?
We've got time for a couple questions.
Yeah.
A couple minutes, so.
Try to take a couple minutes for you guys.
A quick question. Have you experimented yet with running vehicles in tandem? I know that's
teaming.
the thing where you're teaming them.
Yeah.
Have you attempted that?
Oh, me for sure, no. No, hell, heck no, sorry. No, so that's why I deploy pilots. So flight ops are a key part of operations. So our RZIs are 333 certified organization. So we're running flight ops right now, but it's all single flight for now. So smallest sites is my focus, which is 15 acres. And that is pretty much a battery. So,
What kind of investment do you have in something like that has all those tools?
I can't tell you my wife's got all kinds of people in this room. No, if you can go to drones, made easy, naturally easy. They sell prepackaged solutions. You can spend as little as $2,000. You can build your own for quote unquote $0. But yeah, what my equipment costs all about together, I'm saying between $2,000 and $3,000 range. And that's with the modifications because I'm really attentive about that. Well, you can go buy, so then the hardware and the software are evolving very constantly, very, very quickly. If you know what you want to do with the data, the tools are going to be there to make it happen. So the new devices, the Inspire, some of the new mapping platforms, the people that make the software to make the point clouds are making it easier to collect. So there's going to be at some point, a $500 device that can do effective data collection. I'm not going to say mapping. Mapping is done by people. Data collection is done by the UAV.
You got time for one more?
You bet. That's all this is. That's Mike's call.
You had an earlier slide that mentioned the number of permits approved and permits not allowed to get your UAV up in the air.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to get a permit?
It's horrible. Don't do it. No. If you have a good plan and a good mission and that you're ready for it, you have a pilot, it's really easy. Our time was about 120 days, and that's within their turnaround time potential. But it's easy if you do it right, like most things. Look to other people that have done it, and you can get advice. I mean, any lawyers in the room? I don't think you need a lawyer unless you have a custom device. Anything that's off the shelf, like I like to focus on, is pretty easy to push in the system because they're in a process now where they say, because I've already approved a Phantom, I'll approve another Phantom. You'll see my 3D robotics Iris. So that's a new thing in the way they're processing the rules is that they're allowed to say, because I approve someone like you, I can approve you, which is a nuance. At the very beginning, there was like 60 approved in all of 2014, to give you context.
I don't know, are you going to be around for lunch?
Yes.
Okay, if the video, I had an opportunity to see the video that didn't play. I know Matt had his computer here. You might not want to mob him, but the video is really awesome. So if you get a chance and you're interested, I don't want to put him on the spot like that, but if you get a chance,
I love it.
That video is really, really cool. So you might want to hit him up and take a look at that.
Well, it doesn't. I'm not going to be done without people that I work with. Like this is Matt has got a lot of good friends in the industry that are helping him out a lot. Without my friends that are Ps, PLSs, and pilots, you can't do any of this stuff. effectively to have a quality GSU level product, in my opinion. But that's because, and some of the things of a data connoisseur, you're going to see it. I think you're quickly going to be able to tell if it's going to meet your standards or not. Thank you very much for the time.